for me, the whole time, there was a consistent feeling like laundry sucks.
Now, one Atlanta-based startup is not only making dry cleaning cleaner, but also more convenient.
I want something from my laundry basket to ready to wear. That's the fundamental human need. One product should solve that need.
It's kind of like a vending machine for dry cleaning.
And then the best part is, it does it all in 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Clearly, it's not something you and Thibault did by yourself.
For sure. Yeah, it takes a lot, whether it's even physically possible or not, you have to discover it. Thibault and I realized like, this is a marathon, and we're the first ones. Today, this is 5.5 years in, I already know what the next 10 years likely gonna look like, and then there's a 20-year plan, 30-year plan, and beyond.
How important is it to you just to be a good human being?
So what else is the point then? How much more value can I add?
Right.
That's it. It's all about giving and adding value to people all around us, including the people here. It feels like the whole world is rooting for this to happen.
Do you believe that thought pattern has driven some of the success you've seen with Presso so far?
100%.
I'm super excited about our conversation today. And before we get all into it and me getting all nerdy and asking when we're talking laundry, give us a peek into, who's Nishant and why Presso?
Yeah. So I actually am an immigrant to the country.
Mm-hmm.
I originally am from Delhi, India.
Okay.
And I come from a family of real estate developers and architects, and I'm the sole person who was always into tech.
Okay.
Always into things that worked and that moved. So I came to the States to pursue my education, further education in engineering, did lots of software, also started dabbling into startups. For me, I think what kind of caused Presso to happen was I've grown up in the perfect environment when it comes to clothes. So
Okay.
in India, we all wear nice clothes, and that's a part of the culture, but it's the perfect clothing care system.
Okay.
We have people that take care of our clothes because labor isn't a problem there. So they take care of our clothes on demand whenever we want them. If I need something ready to wear, like cleaned, dried, pressed, everything in even 10 minutes, but 10 minutes, they can't do it.
So
but I can say
like on demand.
one 1.5 hours, not even pickup, in the home. I would call my mom. It's like, hey, I need to wear this. She'd be like, okay. They go figure it out. They do some magic and they would
Right.
hand wash it. They would dry it. They would press it. If it's delicate, they would steam it. So they would use and everything is hung dry, air dried, or sun dried. So it's
Right.
really, really nice. And things are often hand washed for the most part. If there are stains, they would work at it, but it's all happens in the home, and every home has that.
Okay.
They all have house help and there are processes that are built. So it's on demand whenever I want. It's fast, and everything gets cleaned every single day. The laundry cycle happens. So stuff comes back in the closet, so I can wear the same stuff I want whenever I want.
Right.
Whatever makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And my clothes never get ruined. Especially that allows the whole culture to wear nice clothes and expensive clothes and never worry about anything, because we're using the perfect, really human touch system.
Got it.
But when I came to the States, and things changed really fast.
There was no extra labor to help you do laundry.
Yeah, I never had to worry about it. It was never a thought in my mind. So it was a new problem that was added to my life.
Right.
And because you're a fresh college grad, you don't know anything. So it's like, okay, whatever everybody else is doing, there's a washing machine, put in the dryer. All right, that's it.
Right.
And they told me about an iron, but I did it maybe the first week of college and I never touched an iron again.
Right.
Just the first week of college, I still had it. And then it just got thrown away at some point. I don't even know what happened to it.
There's some iron out there floating around that has your name on it. It's totally lost.
I used it once. My parents got it for me and they put it in my dorm. And it's like, you should use an iron whenever you need it.
And you're like, when do I need it? I don't know what wrinkles are.
Yeah. like it's just, yeah. So it was, but things settled. There's no other option in the US. And trying to get, when I won't even pick up an iron that I have in the room and do it, you don't expect me to drive to a dry cleaner, give my clothes off for 4 or 5 days, plan 5 days in advance of somewhere I want to go to, and then just to drive again to this random place, remember to take a chit with me, like a little piece of paper with me, and then pick up my clothes and then go back home and then get ready for it. Heck, we're not in that generation yet. You can't expect me to do that.
Right.
But that's the only option. So obviously this was like, but it's like nobody else was doing it anything differently. Like there was no other prospect at all. So like 4 years went by just like that. And I was just, for me the whole time, there was a consistent feeling like this is one thing that sucks, but there's nothing I can do about it. So that's it.
Right. Laundry sucks.
Laundry sucks.
Right.
And it's just, by the time I was graduating, I started feeling more confident that maybe I can do something about it.
Okay.
Why let the status quo be the way it is?
Right. And that's kind of where the birth of Presso started happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of people out here who are watching, maybe tuning in for the first time, and there's others who are veterans and operators in the industry. Give them, a short synopsis of what is Presso? Like what does Presso do?
Yeah. So Presso is a tech company where we're completely reinventing the laundry technology from scratch. So what I just talked about, the problems we saw with traditional clothing care systems are very straightforward. One, it takes too long. So I want things now. I want things on demand in this generation. Like we cannot be expected to wait several days or even several hours is too much.
There is a different expectation.
Yeah, there's a different expectation. And second for me was, for something that's supposed to take care of my garments, I've ruined more than enough clothes to count in laundry.
Well, the question is it the machine's fault or because you didn't do laundry when you were growing up?
I mean, doesn't matter if it's the machine's fault or if it's my fault because I don't know how to use the laundry machine properly because it's the UX.
Right.
Like, if I'm messing up with the laundry machine all the time, then upgrade the laundry machine so I don't mess it up.
Right. It is the user experience.
It's the user experience. And it's not just my experience. So many people, we've just born with how many clothes do we ruin? 20% of my closet always gets ruined. Like anything new I buy, 20% of the stuff I'm only going to get to wear once.
Okay.
And
now,
just goes
when we've had extensive conversations, behind the scenes. So when you say ruin, let me just frame it a little more. It still doesn't have that new look and new feel from going through the washing process and going through the drying process. It's a harsh process on clothing. So nothing ever feels new once it goes through that process.
Maybe you're never going to get that comment in the office again.
Right.
That, hey, that looks new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you have that feeling when you first touch it and the fabric is I keep touching the shirt. It's still new. So I love the feeling. I brought 6 of them so I could still have that new feeling.
Yep.
Right. So Presso, you come up with this idea. Presso gets born and you create this machine that will allow us to do, well, you tell us, what was it allowed to do?
So the idea is simple. It will allow us to get, if you were to design something from scratch, forget laundry and dry clean the way it exists.
Okay.
I want things on demand. I want it to take actual care of my clothes. I don't want it to ruin my clothes, like shrinkage, color fading up, anything. It should really extend the lifetime of my garments and it should keep making them feel like new.
Okay.
Then the other pet peeve I have with laundry is if I was designing this today from scratch, I'm not going to make a washer separate, a dryer separate, a steamer separate, an iron separate, and then also having to separate clothes out to use them in the process.
Right.
So it should be all in one. Why do I want to clean clothes? Why do I want to take care of clothes so that I can wear them?
Right.
I want something from my laundry basket to ready to wear. That's the fundamental human need. One product should solve that need.
Okay.
Not 5 products.
Right.
And plus, there are all these liquids too. So it's not 5, actually. It's a lot more products that enable it to work.
Right.
And obviously, one big thing is it should be better for the environment.
Okay.
It's got to be better. We've already shown that the level of sleep that's possible, that's unexplored, we've been able to bring down carbon footprint per garment by 93%. That's today.
Right, per garment, 92%.
Per garment, even though we don't do it in bulk. Like, so today a Presso machine is, you got one machine, it's size of a vending machine today, like a refrigerator. You hang in one garment on a hanger that's inside. It's all custom. Everything is an invention in there. It will use a combination of pressurized steam, robotic stretching, robotic drying technology, air drying technology, along with data AI, which will come over time to give the right kind of care for the right kind of garment.
Got it.
And then the best part is it does it all in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5.
So from all that you gave us, and clearly we're going to pop pieces in here so the audience can visualize what we're talking about. Listening to it, I'm kind of have an advantage. The audience doesn't have, but some of our viewers have been here because Presso has made inroads and has relationships and working with laundromat operators and owners. Hence why we're having this big discussion. And from what I've seen and what you've just explained, Presso is in this middle space, correct me if I'm wrong, between wash and press and dry cleaning. There's this gap, this category there that Presso fits into, where I'm not dry cleaning this garment, but I'm not washing, pressing it, but it's like a pressing and refreshing going on at the same time.
Yeah, what we want to do is we basically do want to provide you a full end-to-end experience, which is you want it clean, press, disinfect, dry. You want these 4 things in a single product. So we want to provide that, and we want to cover really all your garments, your nicest garments too. So, but what it's best for, because it's on demand, it's not designed for volume. It is like volume as in like what a dry cleaner does, but it's designed for all of these things where all the stuff that I'm wearing, that you're wearing on a day-to-day. That's we're gonna likely wear this, and then it's gonna go on the side of my laundry basket. Or for some reason where you're talking about on the chair.
It goes on the chair. Like there is a category in my house called a chair. Or maybe somebody else's house, it could be their exercise, their treadmill, their Peloton. I went to dinner the other evening. Shout out to Kent Wells and Monica. Came to New York to visit us there in Spokane, Washington. Laundry operators there, great. They run a great full service business. I said Wells, but it's Wales. Sorry, Kent. And part of the, like, there's so much racing through my head right now talking about Presso and our industry. It just, I'm totally getting sidetracked because I'm just so excited. So it's opened up for operators from what I've seen, and the conversation that you've had with operators coming here and laundromat owners touring, it creates this option for them to have Presso either front of house or back of house, from what I've seen. And I envision, and you have operators who are already doing it today. We visited one yesterday that they use it as a valet service, back of house, and then also a self-service, option for them. And kind of putting you on the spot, where do you see Presso fitting into a laundromat currently? Like some operators are watching us right now, and when you finish, they're like, that Presso piece sounds really interesting. Where should I put that in my store right now to add value for my client?
So there are 2 models that we're see success. One is like a pure back of house model, where you have your pickup and delivery, your garments coming in, and then you're processing them through the Presso. And the other is a hybrid model. So self-service, it works. And then part valet. So the machine is getting utilized all the time. It's adding value to your property. You can basically, what we see is attendants use it. Somebody comes and typically gets very interested and excited about what is this new thing, where you can see the garment being treated for the first time. Otherwise, it's all, you never really see it.
It's highly visual.
It's highly visual. So they get attracted, they come and check it out, and then we use it, and attendants kind of help them in the middle. So it's a hybrid model. So we see both work, and what our vision is to enable for laundromats is for your customer, for your client, they're making a trip to your location, or they're taking that effort. When they get back, they should get back with the full result, the perfect quality of care for their garments, whatever they wanted. They shouldn't be coming back with like damp clothes on a hanger because they were afraid to put in the dryer, you know. They shouldn't have to have a separate bag of clothes in their car that was only meant for dry cleaning,
Right.
because they're too afraid to put it, or it says dry clean only, or they're too afraid to put it in the wash. So they're going to take it to some other operator and drive somewhere else and then come back to you.
Got it.
You should become the one-stop shop for your clients. You should be able to enabled to treat 100% of your client's closet.
Right.
That's our mission for laundromats.
Got it.
How can we keep upgrading Presso to, today for the first time with our technology, we are able to enable you as a laundromat for the first time offer a scalable pressing service.
Right.
We were talking about this, we tried using an iron at some point and offer a service because people want it.
God is still in my basement, and it's not the iron that you lost in college. It's like we've got a press, like we brought it like a mini
full pressing machine too.
Presser, like not full blown like a dry cleaner, but we brought a mini one, and we were like, yeah, we could do pressing, and we did it a few times, and then I did a couple, and I was like, oh no,
it's not scalable whatsoever. Yeah,
it's in the basement in a box still,
Yeah, so that's just not scalable because it takes so much labor. So that's my background, my co-founder's background being in robotics.
Okay.
It was how can we automate this so that it starts to become scalable, because we want it. We want clothes ready to wear. And part of ready to wear is also de-wrinkled. If it looks wrinkled, it can be as clean as you want, but if it looks just completely wrinkled.
Right. So no, I get that.
So yeah.
So I'm going to circle back a little bit when I was referring to Monica, Kent, Jessica, and I all went to dinner previous week. He's in New York on vacation, and we go to a restaurant. I don't know, maybe we're out 3 hours, maybe 4. So I put on a shirt, I put on my blazer, I put on a pair of jeans, and we go, and I sit down for 4 hours. Let's say 3. I'm in the car, blah, blah, blah. I don't do anything. I don't work a sweat. I'm just lifting the fucking heat.
Yeah.
I get home and I take those off. There's this dilemma. Do I put it in the hamper?
Exactly.
Or do I throw it in the chair?
Yeah, you feel a little bit guilty putting it back on the closet. It's like, I kind of wore it, so is it really clean?
Right. So does it go to the chair? Do I put it on my Peloton? Like, do I put it on the treadmill? Like, does it go on the couch or does it go in the closet? Right. So when I hear Presso, I think of that's a classic scenario where I wore this dress shirt, I wore this blazer, and maybe I wore my jeans or slacks. In that case, I wore jeans. I can go to my Presso, put it in there, refresh it, press it, not traditional press, but we're air pressing
it,
right? With steam and different solutions, not solvents, but solutions to refresh it, and then steam it to get it to a point where I could probably wear it for another 2 hours. Or maybe I go to another dinner event for a couple of hours and I wear it again.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the hamper.
Then you can press it again.
Right.
And then you can press it again.
So maybe it doesn't even have to go back to the hamper.
Yeah.
Right. Unless I get food stains on it, then we're talking something different.
So this is actually was one of the origin stories, as like an origin of the company was one of these realizations that in this day and age, in this developed country, in the kind of environment we live in, we're no longer in a place where it's dirt and dust all over the place.
Right.
We're constantly getting stains and dirt all over our clothes. I saw my laundry basket at that time, this is 5.5 years ago, and 90% of stuff was just belonging in that category. Right. And the additional part was there was some worked in sweat because I wore it for the whole day. But there's no stains. It's not like dirty. It's just kind of, I know from the smell of it, or if I try to smell the underarm, or like if I don't, I won't even know. It's just, I have the memory of it, and it looks wrinkly. Right. So
we got wrinkles. We have some oils and fluids from our body, sweat, what have you. But it's not like it's workout clothes. Yeah. I just wore it to go from the car to the office, etc.
And like for that, like all the stuff you wore at that dinner, now if you're the only option you have to truly clean it is to put your garments through this harsh process where it's getting tumbled with a bunch of other clothes of other types and other fabrics for long periods of time, where it might be getting dried for far more than it needs to. It might be getting agitated so strongly that things fall off, or the lint starts to come out of the garment, and it's literally eating away. The cleaning process is eating away. It's taking a layer off of your garment. So obviously it's not going to feel the same afterwards.
Right. Yeah. We're actually deteriorating the fiber in like micro doses.
We're calling it cleaning because
we're stripping it.
Yeah, but we're stripping it. Exactly.
Which hence all the lint that we have in the dryers and the laundromat over time.
Yeah.
Where actually the clothes are shedding like a dog or a cat. They're just shedding over time.
But it's not like a living being that can recover and replenish itself. Like if you shed it, one layer, that layer is never coming back. Right. It's done. And each garment might only have like a set amount of layers. And for humans, we can recognize even one layer, one wash, we can recognize. You walk into the office with a new shirt versus a shirt that's been only washed once.
Yep.
Everybody knows.
It's when you walk in the office, it's like, hey, new outfit. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. So I've been fortunate enough to see behind the scenes, and we'll share that with some of our viewers. Presso is not a simple accomplishment, right? It's not you woke up with this idea, you sat down with your co-founder. Well, before we go there, tell us a little bit about, your co-founder.
Yeah, so my co-founder's name is Thibault, Thibault Corens, and he's also an immigrant, but from Belgium.
Awesome.
So he and I both came to Purdue and were in the same class right off the bat in the same college. So we saw each other several times throughout the year, started to become friends even in freshman year. And he's also from a similar family background, but his one is everything about industrial automation, manufacturing, and robotics.
Got it.
Everything hardware, everything really, and at a much, much bigger scale. So that was his passion. He grew up on the manufacturing floors and the assembly floors and kind of just worked. It was his parents' company, but still working with his hands and like leveling up in the organization, and just having that intimate understanding of hardware. And then in college, he also started a hardware startup. I started a few software startups, and we both were already bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, and the drive to do something meaningful and impactful with our lives, and take risks, and having the ability and the privilege to be able to take such a big risk, like taking on this problem that nobody else has dared to take on is a it takes a lot to be able to do this, where everything is a question mark, whether it's even physically possible or not. You have to discover it. So we became, I think we were somewhat friends like when we were starting out, but we hadn't really worked this intensely together on anything. We did one or two projects early on. We came together in the first year of formation of this company. The product side took a whole other leap because like me with the software background and some robotics, like without the hardware element, it's almost impossible. And we are really the biggest innovation to this date is our hardware that we've invented.
It's a hardware heavy product.
Yeah.
There's a ton of tech behind it, but it's physical.
Yeah.
Like you have to touch it, you have to use it. So it sounds like the stars and entrepreneurship lined up for you perfectly. Like Thibault was on the factory floor. He's in the family business, surrounded by entrepreneurs. You grew up surrounded by entrepreneurs. Yeah. So you're on the tech side, he's on the hardware side. You come together at Purdue, the great idea that laundry sucks forms Presso. And now, what iteration are you on with Presso? Is it?
So,
roughly.
Technically, we call it 11.2.
Okay.
11th version, but with incremental additions and improvements.
To that, okay. So we're in
it's technically, I would say, like the level of improvements we do in these point ones for an external audience, I would say this is like 13 that we're on. And then we're building 14, 15, 16.
Right. So 11 iterations of the physical unit.
Of the physical, like even the shell itself.
Okay, quite a bit. Over what period of time? How long has Presso been?
Over 5.5 years.
Okay, so roughly like 2 per year, give or take, because we're at 5.5 years. So clearly it's not something you and Thibault did by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
You didn't just sit in a room or a garage and start tinkering.
Yeah.
Like we hear some of these stories that become overnight success, like Steve Jobs and them or Hewlett Packard, they're in the garage. Like, so you have this partnership and clearly you have a team. There are people behind us working in the office. How important is team dynamics, for you, as the CEO, as a co-founder and building this firm?
It's everything. Team is everything.
Right.
Even Thibault and us coming together was the decision. Okay, we needed a team. We knew it early on. Team and the culture of the team, I think both together sets the journey that Presso is going to be on. Because all these other things, all the actual achievements, in delivering the product, inventing all the tech, and then executing it, putting it out in the market, building a business, all of that stuff is a consequence of a good, healthy team that executes well, that takes care of their customers, their clients, and that works well with each other and that holds each other accountable, and that also that believes in the same shared values and mission and vision. So even like we've been very, very focused on that. Even I think, we were in China for a year in the middle. So did 1 year in the US, then you just lived in China for a year and just tried to invent the tech.
That's awesome.
And we came back to the States. Even in that time, in our second year, Thibault and I realized like, this is a marathon. It's going to take a long time because once we had discovered that it's possible, what we were trying to do, and what it seemed like was the need of the consumer market, because we had been in the market for so long and we realized their needs, and we were like, okay, we have to invent something completely new. Nothing exists that can do what they need.
Right.
As soon as we had some of that, we were like, all right, well, this is just the beginning. This opens up a whole can of worms of like all the things that are possible. They've opened the doors into a whole new category, whole new markets, like tons of businesses that can be built here. And we're the first ones.
Right.
And we're the only ones. And so this is going to go for, this is not even a 5, 6, even a 10-year thing.
Right.
Today, this is 5.5 years in. I already know what the next 10 years are likely going to look like. And then there's a 20-year plan, 30-year plan, and beyond.
Right. It's truly a marathon.
It just comes down to, that's why then even in China, we started laying down our culture. We started realizing, okay, what are the core foundational values that connected Thibault and I? And what are the kind of people that are going to fall into that bucket and that team? And then building this team out, building the culture out. I think all of the stuff that we have done, even when there was a period of time in the beginning where I was technically alone, but I was never alone.
Right.
I had people in the startup community at Purdue that literally was one of the people who consulted for me, and they built one of the prototypes because I had maxed out my experience and I needed someone else to come in with hardware. There were so many people that came in and out and helped execute some of the early first experiments, and then putting out booths and having people try their sweaty clothes in a gym on the machine, and just sitting with me on the booth or interviewing people. There are people who stood with me and it shifts with me in the men's locker room to get people to try their clothes, and sitting for 3 hours in a men's locker room. You see things that you don't want to see. I
just had a couple visuals there.
So there have been partners and people and community that's been all along the ride.
Right.
And we keep all the execution that we end up doing, I would say, is we just get the fundamentals right. We keep the team healthy and we keep a healthy culture. And then we have that mentality of giving. It's all about giving and adding value to people all around us, including the people here. In that I find ourselves getting lucky all the time.
Right.
Because there's so much goodwill that's been there, and all the communities that have been part of our journey that keep sending resources, help when we didn't realize we were going to need it. Just all sorts of, it feels like the whole world is rooting for this to happen.
Right.
And for this change to come through and to come through to all the people. Yeah, it's whatever we're going to do and we're already doing, it's going to be good for everyone involved, everyone.
Right. You said, you feel that you're just getting lucky and luckier. Well, there's that adage that's saying the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yep.
the opportunities start lining up because you're putting in the work. And let's be clear, when we say work harder, I'm not, not talking to this cliche or the culture on the internet that's just like hustle, hustle, hustle. Like you can't get rest. We talked about this earlier. You can't take a break and unplug. But let me jump back for a minute. When you were discussing the team and how good the team has to be to take care, you said customer, and then you came right back and you said client. Was that purposeful?
Yeah.
Why is that?
We recently renamed our customer success department to client success, where you and I were talking about this, that we realized that all the people that are working with us are really, we have another word for our clients, which is we call them Presso pioneers. They're pioneers with us.
I'm going to write this one down.
They are just as much creating the category as we are. We can provide all the tech in the world, and we can keep inventing more and more stuff and more features. But it is some of the early partners that are also taking the risk of like, all right, we know this category doesn't exist yet, but we believe in the product, we believe in the vision, we believe that there is a demand for this, and let's go out and market it to our people and let's add value to them.
Right.
So we changed from customers to clients because we realize it's not transactional. We're not just giving you a robot and that's it. Okay, great. We made the sale and it's done. It's not about that at all. It's like we actively work with all our clients because we're providing a service to them.
Right.
Even our business model, it's a service model. So we don't even even if it says on the contract or anything where there's a lease, but it's not a hardware lease. It's a service we are providing.
Right.
Like even when any of our clients work with I call them either clients or partners. They work with us. Like we take care of everything. And this is the only way this category is going to get built.
Right.
This is like all of the people are pioneers. Like we got to take care of them. So even when it comes to maintenance, shipping, being there on site, like there's never a case where we'll just install the machine and forget about it. Even if it's a demo machine, we take care of it. It's a little baby that we put out. So, and the person holding the baby is the new parent.
Right.
We got to take care of them.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. You give us a Presso machine. That's the newborn baby.
Yeah.
Like we don't know what to do with it. Like, so there's this new category that you've created. And now you empower the owner, and we're focusing on laundromats because that's the majority of what I do, and majority of our viewers, and some are in other fields. And we could easily see the Presso machine being used in other verticals or other environments like hospitality, et cetera. But we'll stay focused, as we talked about earlier, on the core that we're speaking with today. This machine becomes a newborn baby in our store. And then you and the team are there to guide the entrepreneur, the owner, the operator on this journey with the Presso. So I get the machine. Let's just say I purchase one from you.
Yeah.
Whether I buy it outright, finance it, or whatever the case might be. What does the ongoing support look like? Like the machine's going to need service. There are solutions that have to go in it to disinfect it, et cetera, et cetera. What does that look like?
Yeah. So even before you get the machine, the onboarding begins.
Okay.
Our onboarding process begins the moment you decide you're going to make the purchase or you get a subscription, whichever model you go for.
Okay.
And then currently there is a backlog of orders and we're trying to level up our manufacturing to deploy more. But while you're waiting for your machine, we're going to start onboarding you and show you like guides, help you with installation requirements. There's going to be all sorts of like marketing collaterals that we're going to brainstorm on, and we'll show you what's working in other properties. We're going to right now we're doing custom design for everyone too. So if you want the logos on there, you want a specific kind of branding because it is also a showpiece in your laundromat.
Totally.
And you saw the laundromat
taking up a good amount of space. It's like a vending machine. Yeah.
But it's the one where you want people to see it.
Right.
So as soon as we walked in yesterday, it's like right up front. In all of our laundromats, you walk in and you're going to see the machine like almost instantly as soon as you walk in.
It's on display.
It's on display.
Absolutely.
So there's that quality to it. So we will do some renderings for you and give it to you and approve all that stuff before. So when the installation day comes, it goes super, super smoothly. Everything has been verified. We will, in this whole process, we'll also visit on site.
Awesome.
And work with the owner, meet with the owner. Then once you get the machine, we actually currently, our process is we're going to be literally there on site every day for the whole week.
Right. How complicated it is to install and hook up a Presso?
Install is, I showed you yesterday, it's literally like a washer box. So there is a drainage line, a water line, and a plug.
So just like hooking up a home washing machine.
That's it. A home washing machine is simpler than that because there's nothing else you really need to do. For our installation, we actually are also there on site to receive the machine.
Okay.
We really don't have to worry about anything.
Got it.
We just make sure the installation requirements are set. Like the washer, basically if you can put a washer and dryer somewhere, you can put a Presso. Simple as that.
Solutions that are used to disinfect and steam the garments.
We provide everything. So we come with the liquids, we fill it up all the way. We have a whole checklist that we're going to run through all the testing, making sure nothing happened over shipping. Then our techs will come and visit every day. Our client success people will also come and visit, we'll build a relationship with the owner, experiment with stuff, even multiple days of training as much as needed. Like we just launched another laundromat and where our client success person was there at 11:30 p.m. on a Saturday, training the midnight crew over the weekend,
How to operate, right.
And then again on Sunday. So like we will go the extra mile to do training. If there's turnover in attendance, whoever are using the machine for valet service, even that we will do whatever is needed because our success, we model it out in a way in all our models where your success is our success.
Right.
Even incentivizing us only upon your success. So that's like right near the installation and onboarding. So there's like very, very like
super simple.
We'll handhold for owners that need handholding. Some owners, if they're very mature, they've read up a lot of stuff. We're also creating e-learning portals so like people can get themselves educated a lot more on their own pace. If people can hit the ground running very quickly, we can also get out of the way, whatever is best for the owner.
All right.
But we'll definitely bring all the things that we're learning that will make them successful.
Got it.
To them. And then there will be like the weekly cadence, monthly cadence, whatever the owner is comfortable with. But we're gonna keep track of them. And we have our own dashboards where we will keep track of the machine health. We'll keep track of how much it's getting used. So we were talking about this, right? If we see a dip, or we see something doesn't make sense, or like, why is your business becoming low? We're going to pick up the phone and call you and like, hey, Waleed, what's going on? Is there any way we can help you? Is there...
I need more revenue. Make this thing make me some money.
Like, what can we do? Like, we constantly offer... we're also a young company. Like, we don't have a lot of processes in like all the ways we can help. So like, we're very white glove. So we'll call you and like, I don't know, I'm getting not getting enough people. All right. We'll do the design work. We'll do free marketing. We'll literally print out stuff and bring it to your laundromat in person. Like, all right, let me help you put up a poster or like or other like banners, or if you need to we even help people advertise on social.
Wow.
Even provide a marketing rebate as part of all contracts right now where we will, if you want to put some budget towards like advertising around your locality to tell people about like in your new service, you want to bring people in, we will fund some of that too.
Right.
We'll help you create content. We have our own marketing team.
That's great. So
anything and everything. We just want owners to be so successful with the Presso, because again, we're your pioneers. Together, we're creating a new category. We cannot create a category with just the hardware.
Yeah, it's this saying, and we've touched on quite a bit of them, where if you help other people get what they need or what they want, you end up getting what you want as a byproduct of helping others. And building a business, clearly you have to have money, right? Money is this fuel, the lubrication that keeps this machine going. It's not a sole focus or driver.
Oh yeah,
but it's something. It's a tool, right? But if you help others, that comes to you, and if you help others in a genuine way, like that is like your core value, like your 100%. Focus on it.
Yeah.
So there's one piece I want to jump back about to the Presso machine. It's set up. There's these solutions. like, give us enlightenment on these solutions. I run the Presso, this gray water solution comes out of it. How do I dispose of it? Like, like dry cleaners, it's a concern for everyone,
100%.
like all the solvents and chemicals that are used. Like, how does Presso fall into that category when it comes to its solution?
Yeah. And consumers today are also getting a lot more, they're more sensitive on their skin. Like,
Right.
I've heard we were in the film industry where they're even more particular about what's being used on the garments and what they're wearing.
Okay.
And we, from the get-go, we've designed this to be as human safe as like humanly possible.
Got it.
So like all our liquids are like, we literally designed it and invented the chemistry, and anything that was even remotely harmful to humans, skin safe, animals, or anything at all, that wasn't even considered as a potential thing to test.
Right.
So when even in our engineering, it was just focused on the stuff that's already good and natural. So we created our own chemistry. We manufacture all the liquids in-house. And they're completely compostable, biodegradable. We have our own safety data sheets as well on it.
Great.
Honestly, you can probably drink it and you'll be fine. So
I'll take your word on it.
But
I'm not going to do it, but I'll take your word on it.
But yeah, it's very, very safe.
I'll pour it in my plant and see how long my plant lasts.
Do it.
Right?
Yeah.
I've seen that on like some commercial, some video on the internet. Some company was like, whatever solution
Smart
it was,
marketing idea.
they were like, the wastewater from it is so safe. They like poured theirs in the plant, and the competitors died. The plant kept growing with theirs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. One cool way to do it. But yeah, basically like the output, the drainage output that you get from the machine is sort of gray water, which it's actually also pretty fresh. The only reason it looks gray is a little bit of the clean liquid that comes in from the vapors. And the other is just the internal steam engine that we have developed.
Right.
That has a little bit of what they call like some minerals because of the water we use.
Right.
We're not asking for distilled water either. Some of the minerals will condense and come to the bottom of the boiler, and then eventually. So it's really just there's nothing else happening. There's no because we're not like. We don't have a tumbling process at all. It's completely tumble free. So there's not a giant bucket of liquid and water in which we're putting garments through and generating a lot of like dirt and dirty liquids and whatever else, bacteria.
Like the minimum amount of solution and water through the steam that's needed for that particular garment. Got it.
We're trying to do real engineering on how we process the garment, and then what comes out is very, very natural and safe.
Okay. So if I follow correctly, I hook up the Presso just like a regular washing machine hookup, whether it's in a commercial laundromat or in my house. When the Presso machine finishes, the solution and the water that comes out of it just goes right down my regular drain.
Regular drain. Nothing
no special.
Not at all. There's just a little tube coming on the back, like in a refrigerator. You can just literally, even if you have a bottom drain, like a floor drain, or you have a laundry box with a drain in it,
just run into that.
Put in the cable in it. That's
right down the regular sewer system.
Yeah.
No special permits needed. No special treatment. I don't have to call some company to come pick up the wastewater.
Not at all. Oh, nothing at all. There. We also designed the technology with this in mind that even our steam engine is designed just at the limit where you do not even need any permits.
Okay.
Because typically, if you buy like commercial equipment that uses steam, you can very easily, most of the boilers require you like a crazy power line, like a much higher voltage. You have to get electricians to do a bunch of stuff. And then like a $40,000-$50,000 boiler that you'll add on your property to generate steam.
And all that has to happen.
So much. And this is not even bringing in solvent. This is just normal steam, just boiling water. Requires that much. So with Presso, everything is integrated into a single product. Comes with the boiler, comes with its own engine, needs no permitting. It's totally safe, and and it plugs in with what you already got.
Right.
So you don't have to do much at all.
Got it.
And that's the only way this will scale too. So like it made economical sense for us to design it that way.
And it's easier for the client, for the operator in the laundry facility,
for sure,
or wherever it might be installed. It's almost plug and play.
Yeah, you could literally even take your current washer and dryer, one pair, move it a little bit to the side, and just insert a Presso
right next to it.
Plug it into the same thing, then it'll work.
Awesome. That's great. So, we talked about how Presso has evolved. We talked about the team that you have. Like currently, how many people work on the Presso team?
We have 19 people.
19 people.
Mm-hmm.
And you grew to 19 from what previously?
Well, I think every year we've added about 3 to 5 people.
Right. So it's steady, but it's steady growth, which is well paced and focused over that 5.5 year period.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was like for the first few years, it was 5 or less.
Mm-hmm.
For like the first, I would say, 2 to 3 years. And after then, we started really picking up pace. We started deploying units out and also received some funding to grow the team out and actually start building an engineering and a product team. And all the tech now that we have today, got invented over the last 2 to 3 years, happened because of the funding we were able to use to then build a full-size team.
That's great. So when we first arrived here, it was like, we got this sense, I heard the team mention it too, like the team was so, like even when we were in Nashville at Wash My Fall, right? The team was so inviting and very personable. And we felt welcome from like the time we came in. Even Nicole, we're texting each other, emailing. It carries over in even electronic communication. And I've heard this like come up in some of our conversation, and we touched on it at dinner last night. How important is it to you just to be a good human being?
I mean, for me, it's just what else is the point then?
Right.
Like you have, we were talking about this, like how I make decisions, or even why I started this. For me, it's just knowing and realizing, we were talking about how many summers do you have left?
Totally.
Like there's so limited time. And if you're enjoying life, it's going to go by really, really fast.
Right.
If you're not enjoying life, it's going to feel like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But time shortens dramatically if things are going well and you are feeling well, you're feeling joyful. So for me, it's always been about there's only so much time left. How much more value can I add?
Right.
That's it. That's the core value I use, and I also like talk about in my onboarding meeting. So I have a culture talk when somebody joins Presso, like spend 2 hours with me. That sometimes goes into 4 hours, but I try to keep it to 1 to 2. And one of the core things I talk about is for your personal decision making at work, there's only one thing you can trust blindly, which is how can I maximize the value per time that I'm adding?
Right.
That's your North Star. Whatever answers that question, if in this time you can do, this is the way to add the most value, go do that.
Right.
That's by definition, most valuable thing that you could have done. So that's what I run by, is this how much value can I add? So that's both as a company, as a group of people, and as an individual. Even how one carries themselves, for anyone who's around you, who's talking to you, they go out of that conversation feeling like they gained something.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that's an emotion, that's a thought, an idea, an advice, whatever. But it is, if on an individual level, you can carry yourself in a giving way, in a giving manner, in a giving mentality, then you're going to have the same thing as a team, then same thing as a company, same thing as your brand. It trickles down. And company typically, it is normal for companies' culture to become the shadow of the co-founders, like their 100%. Culture, whatever are their fundamental values.
That might be a little scary for my companies then.
I think you're going to get really focused people that are just like eliminate all distractions.
Or chasing a lot of shiny objects at the same time.
Or they're very smart about also figuring out like how to limit the distraction for them towards Chinese objects.
Right. That's great. So saying all that, it ties back. I get this theme from our conversations just outside of business that there's a core value for you personally to strive to become a better human being every day. Like I get the impression you're comparing to your today self to your yesterday to say, how do I get better? Yeah.
There is I think that's what another thing we were talking about of kind of being a better human being was I think for me, this started in sophomore year of college, where I don't know what exactly happened, if there was an event that kickstarted this, but I think I just realized that you really can't change anyone else. You can only change yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like in any situation, if you feel sad, if you got depressed, or if something happened to you, you cannot change how everyone else is going to react. Like you can try,
Right.
and everybody tries, we all try. But if you start to expect it and like connect your happiness or your emotions on someone else doing something different or changing, then you're kind of giving the power, the privilege of your well-being to everyone outside or everything outside.
Awesome.
So what you can change, what you do have in your control, is how do you react to a situation. So that was an initial insight. And I think I just started more and more putting in extraordinary, I say, because around me at the time, I've barely ever seen people invest so much time in nothing that looks productive directly.
Right.
So, and about yourself, about learning about yourself, like it's a lot of yoga and meditation for me started way, way back. And also knowledge of it, like acquiring like wisdom and then trying it out and seeing what works, I'll keep it. If it doesn't work, throw it away. I didn't associate myself with any particular sect or religion or a way of thinking, or like try to like not limit myself, like go in open-minded. And what's the harm in trying?
Right.
Phrase it as an experiment, go try it. And try it in the sense, I mean, like on a personal level, and being a better human, it's, okay, if I don't react in a situation, then what happens? Do things turn out better?
Right.
If I truly give without the fear of like, is this person taking advantage of me?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? What's the end conclusion?
Right.
So it's just like you start to become a lot more reflective in just the way you carry yourself. So like, I'd say personally, I didn't explicitly think in the terms of like how to be a good human or a better human.
Right.
For me, there definitely was a curiosity of that's always been there, is what is it about being human? What makes us human?
Right.
Why are we the ones that are called human beings? And we don't say a dog being or any other species doesn't get the being part of it. So there's definitely something that separates us.
Yeah.
So there's a natural curiosity of what makes us us.
Right.
And in that curiosity, the more, it's like for any subject, the more you learn about it, the better you can get at it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't even learn about it, then what? And our education system only teaches us the physiological part of it. But if that was it, then I can cut you up and learn about Waleed. That's not gonna work.
Not,
I can lecture you all I want, but I'm never gonna know Waleed.
Right. The essence of a person.
So there's a lot more going on in this human system than it's available on the surface.
Right.
So I started delving deep in that, or at least started from a distance, still scared of like going too deep, and just like a little bit in sophomore year of college. And then over time, my investment started to become like, it became like where I'm spending 4 or 5 hours on the weekend every day. And then 1 or 2 hours after like a normal school day, coming back and just watching content, everything around like spirituality, around yoga, meditation, around different aspects of like what makes us us, why are things the way they are, what is emotional intelligence. And there was no particular objective to it. Like I wasn't running a company then that I needed to get better for. Mm-hmm. It was in itself, like one way to phrase it is, how can I be a better human? For me, it was like, what is it about being human? What is all of this?
Right.
So the curiosity, the education, and over time that turned into me taking some bolder moves into like, I'm going to take some risks and try some things, really try them for some prolonged period of time and see if there's an effect.
Right.
And whatever worked, I kept. Whatever didn't work, I moved on from.
Right. Do you think, or do you believe that focus, that experimentation, that thought pattern has driven some of the success you've seen with Presso so far?
100%. 100%. I think, especially in the first few years of the company, I used to say this much more vocally, but that the best product I've ever built is this one.
Right.
And that's been the focus. I think the whole 4 years of college for me I was telling you, like, as if like some part of me knew that I was just preparing myself to do this job now.
Got it.
So like all the startups / projects that I started, all the mistakes that were needed to be made, no matter how much books you can read, like starting a startup is so counterintuitive. You're gonna make the mistake. You're gonna be like, yeah, I get that, but that's not me. My situation is a little bit different. It's a little bit nuanced, and those fundamentals don't really apply to me.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make those mistakes.
It's the same.
Yeah. So I think leveling up yourself and seeing yourself as a product that you build. So like it takes a little bit of like a bird's eye view on your own self and your own body, like where, okay, this is Nishant, this is in a situation, and then in all sorts of situations, place them. How will this person react?
Right.
How should it react? And then how can I go from this A to B in this aspect? And same for every aspect of you. But it just is a different way to operate, where I feel like in this day and age, majority of our time that we spend is always on the outward self. Like, what do I have? What do I want? What's the next thing I want? And like, it's all outwards. But inwards, how does this person really work? How do my emotions work? How do my thoughts work? Why do I sometimes feel like I just can't stop my mind? Why do I get hurt when someone says something this way, specifically this thing? So like, there is a whole lot of reflection, introspection, and then fine-tuning you can do on this product and optimize this for your mission. So if my mission is to add the most value to the world, okay, I saw that this is an opportunity where I can touch every human on the planet, because laundry is so fundamental. Right. And it's a problem across the world. Right. Even in India, the labor isn't going to continue forever. Like, we're going to need automation. We're going to need better technology to take care of our
Absolutely.
clothes.
It's got to evolve.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned in that statement, like touching people all over the world. So I hear it and I see it when you said it in your face, that you truly believe that Presso has the opportunity or potential, whatever word we want to use, to be connected with everyone in the world. On what level?
So what we're doing today, it's the tip of the iceberg, which also might be a tip of another iceberg.
Right.
So
that's a lot of tips here.
I think we've talked about this enough, or a bunch, where the level of innovation that we're doing, we're taking the entire, and it's not by choice. It's just, that's the only way. Right. If there was an easier way, we would have done that. It's just to really create the future that is best for everyone, and then to really there's a reason why this hasn't been done before. The whole of laundry, the whole of clothing care has not really been looked at as a whole. It's always been fragmented
100%.
into different technologies, and even in the vendors and the people in the industry. We've talked about this so much. Everybody's so fragmented, and
they are.
Fragmentation will halt innovation, especially if, like, we need capital injection with people to be able to take some leaps and try some stuff out. Right. And then that's how you get innovation. But there are so many segments, each part of the stack: cleaning, pressing, air drying, air pressing, air cleaning, stain removal, body odor removal. There are different aspects we can go within cleaning and even within drying, all the, and then we haven't even talked about AI-powered automation. There's so much there: garment detection, fabric detection. Each garment is different. Right. It's going to be different, even if the fabric is the same and the shape is the same. It's going to be just a little bit different. So how do you do the perfect treatment for that garment? Right. There's so much to be developed here, and there are multiple companies rolled into one. Each of the part of the stack could totally have been its own company, but it would not convert into the level of the level of value we're talking about. And for us today, the product that you see, and we're partnering with laundromat owners and making them one-stop shops with the Presso. Right. But it's just the beginning. So for us, we're following really the go-to-market of, one good analogy is the washing machine.
Mm-hmm.
It started in laundromats. They were big. They needed labor. They attended labor and all that stuff.
Right.
So obviously we centralized it. People went to those shops and you got the service.
Right.
Then we created, the technology got a little bit more mature. And then we created a minier, a little bit smaller, a little bit of a different version of the product that could then finally go into communal laundry rooms.
Right.
Those became, laundry rooms went from big laundromats to some small ones in apartment buildings.
Right.
They find them in
Housing
hotels.
complexes, etc.
Housing complexes, correct. And then there's other part of the consumer demographic. So you still need laundromats like we have today.
100%.
You also need communal laundry rooms. And then you also need a certain part of the market where you need machines in your home.
Right. So we saw the transition from pure commercial / industrial to
Consumer facing,
self-service, coin vended.
Yep.
Then more in the household and
Yep.
not in the household environment, but in the residential environment.
Yeah.
Like the co-laundry spaces in apartment buildings, housing complex, et cetera, in the hotels.
Yeah.
To the iteration of it being a home unit.
A home unit.
So
Yeah.
You-
And all three exist at the same time.
Right.
Because consumer demographics are different. Needs are different across the
they still
across the
support each other. People
They
have
still support each
washers and dryers at home,
Yeah.
but they still take their comforters to the laundromat.
That's also
or they
true.
come home from
Yeah.
vacation.
It's a little bit of a different version for each.
Yeah.
And there's different specialties and capabilities of the hardware.
So
So we're starting out with laundromats. What I say is like, we're like the company that we just invented the washing machine.
right,
We're the first ones here, and it's far too different than what anybody has ever seen. It's like if people only knew washing clothes with hands or like a scrub or something at home and then hang drying it,
right,
and then somebody comes out with a machine and they set up a laundromat. Like we're the ones that created the first machine of this category, and then over time it's gonna get more and more accessible.
right,
So that's what I call it. As like laundromats are accessible to certain demographics, not to everyone.
right,
For the rest of them, communal rooms are more accessible. And then for the rest of them, even that won't work for them. They want it so accessible that it's in their closet or in their bathroom or in their laundry room where they can just take care of clothes whenever they want.
got it. So if we had to leave all of our viewers that are watching or listening, what would be one thing you would want to leave? Let's be focused, because we talked about focus earlier, to the garment care operator or owner. What would be one thing you would leave them with for the future of their business with Presso being involved in the industry?
I think an operator, my personal opinion is we need to start looking at on our clients. Your customers are also your clients. So your clients, how are you maximizing value for them? How are you making them get so much value from their visit to your laundromat? Or if they're sending you their clothes or dropping it off, where it's just that mentality of one-stop shop. You know,
Right.
it's high quality. It's also the volume that they're doing, but it's also like everything. I can go to one place. I don't have to think about it.
Right.
I can take whatever I have in my closet. I can drop it off at this one place, and they will know how to take care of it the right way.
Got it.
So enabling, I think this was your talk at the Wash Dry Full conference. The whole title of the talk was
I started smiling.
how to dive deeper in your customers' closets.
Right.
It's that. It's like, and you've talked about so many value-added services that one can do to just keep adding more and more value. There's value in things just being in the one place. There's a reason why we have strip malls where you'll find if there's one bank, there's a next bank is right next to it and another bank. And the same with the shopping, why there's a mall. All the brands are next to each other because it makes it convenient for the consumer that all the things that you want are in one place.
Got it.
So it's the same mentality. You've got, if you have customers with walking dogs, you want a dog washing station. If you have lots of older people, they need you can have a massage chair. You want some entertainment for younger people, you might have a study area for other people. And if you're in more of a college environment, but just thinking through and like, how can you continue to add value? And I think and still realizing your main business is clothes and garment care. That's your main business. How come you don't have an on-demand solution?
Right.
You only have solutions that take the hours that somebody has to spend there, or that will, any logistics, if you do, it's going to take 1 or 2 days. We got to have some on-demand solutions available for customers. I know a lot of laundromat owners have like vending machines with exchange removal solutions that someone can just get there if they forget it, or detergent, they can get it.
Or they offer other services, dry cleaning. So this becomes another complement to their line of services.
100%. Like if somebody has an emergency, if somebody, you might have like if I bring a bunch of clothes and I put it, if I'm self-service, right? I put in the washer, then dry. Then maybe five of the 20 garments I brought, I'm scared to put in the dryer.
Right.
And I'm going to air dry in the Presso, and then I'm going to press them as well.
Yeah.
And maybe 3 of the garments I want to actually wear for the event tonight or tomorrow that's coming. I don't want to have to worry about pressing. I don't want them folded. I just want it de-wrinkled.
Put it right in the presser.
Press it.
I've seen that.
I can finish it.
Right. We've had cases where people run in and say, hey, I just need this shirt pressed.
Yeah.
Because I have an interview tomorrow. Like, it's not really dirty. Can you just, and we're like, we don't offer that service. So in that case, that goes right into the Presso.
Pressing has never been scalable.
And it's ready in 5.5 minutes. Typically is the cycle on a Presso. So
if you have any traditional machines for pressing or ironing, it's just not scalable. There's no way with today's hardware you can provide as a laundromat owner, you can provide a service like that. It's not that people don't want it, but people want it if you can price it at a level where it's accessible. Right. So if you're pricing at $5, like in hotels, you go just for pressing, $5, $6, even $10. It's like $1 cheaper than dry cleaning. It's just to press.
Right.
And people use it. People pay it. That's why
that's a neat service.
But if you use all the machines and you have a lot of labor, like a dry cleaning shop does, which a laundromat operator typically doesn't, you're just not gonna make anything. With Presso, we're taking what will take, if you had a handheld steamer to, like, say, press a garment, 12 and then iron 15 minutes.
Right.
With Presso, labor time is at max 60 seconds.
Right. You
That's
put
like
it in.
taking the garment.
You set it.
Go for it. Go and bring it out. Even include anything additional finishing touch you want to give.
Right.
Scalable all of a sudden, because it's a leap. It's a 5x leap in just pressing. And as we're adding more and more tech into our product, we're going to be able to do, and we showed a demo to you yesterday with what's coming. We're going to be able to do a lot more than just pressing and refreshing in our product. We're going to really stretch the boundaries of go from refresh, because people misconstrue refresh as like, so basically you're not doing anything, only just for breezing it. Right. But that's not it.
Well, more than just for breezing is happening. Yeah. You mentioned it earlier in the 4 things that happen.
We've done 2 years of R&D to develop like liquids and application methods and spraying technology.
To take it beyond that.
Take it beyond refreshing into the realm of cleaning in seconds, not minutes or hours.
We'll definitely have to revisit that in our next episode when we get back together. So as we wrap up, I'm going to use your term that you brought up earlier. If someone wants to get, more information about Presso, about the company, or connect with you to understand more what you're doing here, or to become a Presso pioneer, as you mentioned earlier, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you or the team here at Presso?
So if you go on our website, getpresso.com, there's a very quick form you can fill out, and you'll get contacted same day from one of our team members. You can directly email me if you like. You can also email just at info@getpresso.com, and that'll just start the process. We just get really any reach. You could even just LinkedIn message me or anyone. Okay. Or Facebook message us, and you can find us all on Facebook too.
Awesome. Nishant.
Yeah. Or talk to Waleed. He has my direct line too. And all of our clients have my direct line.
Right.
And they get,
It starts that way in the beginning, but as you grow, it's going to whittle down.
I'm going to see, I've heard some CEOs who have made this possible with hundreds of clients and still being able to, put that as a cultural thing that we're going to.
I know some that have a separate cell phone just for that.
So Kevin O'Leary actually said it on a talk as well.
He is one, yes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely doable.
Yeah.
So, Nishant, I can't thank you enough for opening up your doors and letting us come into your ecosystem, your environment, to let us look around and experience Presso firsthand, and you to carve out the time to sit down and share what's going on in Presso, present, past, and what's coming for the future. So I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for
Thanks so much for having
coming
us.
all the way here and spending so much time with us. It's been great to spend so many hours getting your advice and also learning more about the industry. We are here to support. We're here to add value in whichever way we can.
Awesome.
That's what we live for.
I look forward to more conversations.
Me too.
Thanks.